For decades, the entire global silver market has been built on a single, simple promise. It's an assumption so fundamental, pretty much nobody ever questions it. But what if that core assumption is about to shatter? They say the truth is often hidden behind the numbers, and right now, those numbers are screaming.
Everything, and I mean everything, could come down to this one number: 3. In just 3 days, a little-known trading deadline is going to pass. Now I know, it sounds like just another boring day on the market, right? But it could be the very moment this quiet, ticking bomb finally goes off. The date you need to know is February 27th. That's the first notice day for the March silver contract on the COMEX, which is basically the world's main stage for metals trading. On this day, traders holding a contract have to make a choice. Do they want to settle for cash, or do they want the real thing? We're talking physical silver bars delivered to their vault. And here's the catch, the big problem. For what looks like the first time in modern history, the math just doesn't work.
So to really wrap our heads around what's happening, we have to peel back the layers and look at the raw data. Because the signals we're seeing in the market right now, well, they're not just unusual. They are a complete break from decades of what everyone considered normal. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this reveals the system's Achilles heel. The entire futures market is built on one core belief, that it's a paper game, that less than 1% of traders will ever actually ask for the physical metal. But just look at the recent reality. This past February, a jaw-dropping 98% of certain contracts stood for physical delivery. This isn't just a statistical blip, folks. This is a massive, counterintuitive shift from a paper mindset to a physical one. The system was never, ever designed to handle this. And this chart just shows you the sheer scale of it all. January is usually a super quiet month for silver. Maybe 1 to 5 million ounces get delivered. This past January, we're talking 49.4 million ounces. That is more than 7 times the volume of the year before. What's really worth noting here is that this isn't just a number on a screen. It's a huge sustained demand for actual metal from major players who clearly don't trust the paper promises anymore. And that brings us right to the heart of the conflict. This enormous world of paper promises running headfirst into the hard, cold, and very finite reality of physical supply. Okay, so this is where it gets really crazy. For this upcoming March deadline, there are paper claims out there for about 429 million ounces of silver. But the amount of actual, physical, deliverable silver sitting in the COMEX vaults, it could be as low as 85 million ounces. Let that sink in. That means for every single ounce of real silver available, there are about 5 paper claims fighting over it. This is basically a bank run, but for a physical commodity. And analysts who are looking at this, they aren't just getting nervous. They're calling it what it is, a structural impossibility. It's like a game of musical chairs where the music is about to stop, and there just aren't enough chairs for everyone holding a ticket. It's that simple. By the way, if you're finding this analysis insightful, please take a second to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next explainer. It really helps us keep digging into stories like this. Now hold on, because this isn't a one-sided fight. The exchange isn't just going to sit back and watch this happen. It has a pretty powerful toolbox filled with emergency measures it can use to try and contain the crisis and, well, protect itself. They've got 4 main plays. First, they can hike margins, which makes it incredibly expensive for anyone demanding delivery to keep their position open. They're trying to financially squeeze them out. Second, they can impose limits, basically telling traders, you can only sell, you can't buy anymore. Third, and this is the big one, the so-called nuclear option, mandatory cash settlement. This is where they just change the rules in the middle of the game. They admit they can't deliver the metal and force everyone to accept cash instead. It saves the exchange, sure, but it absolutely destroys its credibility. And last, they can try what's called vault stuffing, a frantic worldwide scramble to find and import physical silver from anywhere they possibly can. But it's so important to note that this isn't just a problem on one exchange in New York. These stress fractures are popping up all over the globe. The clues are hiding in plain sight, and they're all pointing to a much, much bigger story of physical scarcity. Take the London silver market, for example. It's in a state that experts call backwardation. Now, all that really means is that people are willing to pay more to have silver in their hands right now than for a promise of silver in the future. It's the market's version of a blaring fire alarm. It's a textbook signal that there's a serious, immediate shortage of the actual physical stuff. And, maybe the most telling signal of all is coming from some of the world's biggest industrial users. I'm talking about giants like Samsung and Tesla. They aren't even bothering with the exchanges anymore. They're going straight to the source, making private deals to buy out the entire production of mines and smelters. When the biggest consumers of a commodity completely abandon the official market, that is a five-alarm fire. It is a massive vote of no confidence in the system's ability to deliver.
So, all of this is building to a final, epic showdown. On one side, you've got the powerful rules and emergency tools of the paper market, and on the other, you have the simple, undeniable laws of physical reality. Because here's the fundamental truth, the one thing that no emergency rule change or backroom deal can alter. No matter how clever the financial engineering gets, you simply cannot create silver that does not exist.
And you see, this crisis didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's the inevitable climax of a problem that's been building for years. This chart shows it perfectly. For 5 straight years, the world has used about 200 million more ounces of silver than it has produced. The vaults have been slowly, steadily draining. What we're seeing now isn't an accident. It's the bill finally coming due. And so, as this deadline gets closer and closer, we're all left with the ultimate question. Which force is going to win? Is it the complex, man-made rules of the paper market, designed to control the game? Or is it the simple, unyielding reality of physical supply and demand? We are all about to find out.